Libertarianism is pro-immigration, pro-market, pro-trade.
More competitive, less centralized.
Not military confrontations, but peaceful interaction.
The war on drugs has been actually an unmitigated disaster.
I find the clearest and most concise answer to that question can be found in George Washington's 1796 farewell address. So this is the message he gave to Americans as he left office to retire to Mount Vernon. And there he lays down what I think are the two great rules that should guide our thinking about foreign policy. First of all, and I quote, "The great rule of conduct for us in regard to foreign nations is in extending our commercial relations to have with them as little political connection as possible." End quote. We're a commercial republic. We're not an empire. It is not in our nature to invade, and colonize others, although regrettably, we have occasionally done so. Our preferred method of interacting with others is to trade with them. And yes, we trade with the whole world, but we very, very jealously guard our national sovereignty and our independence. We firmly believe that the nation state is the basic unit of geopolitics. We work with other nations to address a whole bunch of issues. We don't reject multilateralism. We even sign treaties with countries. But we firmly reject the contemporary drift towards transnationalism and the Kantian calls for world government. The second thing that Washington says is, we should choose peace or war as our interest, guided by justice, shall counsel. That's a really crisp and clear formulation. Foreign policy is about our interests, not the interest of others, not the well-being of humanity. America, like other countries, does not exist to protect the rights of mankind, only those of its own citizens. But then comes in the clause, guided by justice. We do not embrace an amoral realpolitik. We don't believe that the end justifies all the means. We pursue our interests, but we are very mindful of the demands of justice, which hems in our pursuit of interest. And so these are, I think, the two great rules. I'll end by touching upon a school of conservatism that really doesn't belong on the right when it comes to foreign policy and has caused a lot of harm to the reputation of conservatism, namely neoconservatism. How it is that this utopian worldview that wants to build democracies the world over, and that culminates in President Bush's call in his second inaugural address to end tyranny the world over, how such an insane utopian promise, utterly unmoored from reality, came to be associated with conservatism, well, that just illustrates my point that in Washington, D.C., a hell of a lot of things that go by the name of conservatism are not conservative. Conservatives are not indifferent to the fate of liberty across the world. We support democracies. That said, we are very, very careful in risking our lives and our treasure to go die on behalf of other people's liberties.